share a whole bunch of information, learn new things, ask questions, and hopefully be out of here in about an hour. That's kind of our goal right now, but certainly if you have questions, ask them as we go through. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stacy Thorpe. I'm one of the counselors here at Cedar Cliff, and you're going to hear primarily from me, but the whole department is here. So I'm Pat Tierney over in the corner. He's actually got a boot on his leg, so he can't stand up and drive a scooter. There's Jen Krager over there. Jessie Gray is here with us, but she's actually making more photocopies of the handout. Mark Miller is our career coordinator, and we've also been joined by Dr. Jones, who is our director of secondary education. So we've got all sorts of people here that can answer questions for you. So the goal tonight is to just let you know all of the different ways that your children can earn college credit while they're in high school. And there's several different ways. We have had kids really take advantage of these opportunities, and we just want to make sure that parents are aware of the opportunities as well. Because what we're finding, the reason we're holding this tonight is because course selection is going to happen in January. And your kids are going to come home and they're going to have all this great info about college and the high school classes they want to take. And you as a parent might be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, explain this to me. So the hope is tonight, I'm going to explain it all to you so that when your children come home during course selection, this all sounds very familiar and you've had some time to kind of process through and figure it out. So the first thing that I want to just talk about is AP classes, so the advanced placement classes that we have at Cedar Cliff. AP has actually been around, I did a little research today, 1952. So some of you may be familiar with AP that may have been going on in the high schools that you attended. All of the courses that we offer are listed. You will see that there are 3 classes listed that say at Cedar Cliff. Every student in West Shore School District has the opportunity to take those classes, but some of them are just offered in Cedar Cliff because of just teacher availability for some of them, and some of it has just been the teachers have kind of sought out this opportunity to teach the AP courses. Advanced placement courses do not give you college credit just simply by completing the class. So these are college level courses, but the curriculum is created by the College Board. Now the College Board are the same people that write the SATs, the AP exams, obviously the PSATs. So the idea behind an advanced placement course is that it allows students to take a class that's considered college level. But because the College Board is writing the curriculum, or because it's being taught to a test at the end of this, every student around the world, because you can take these in other countries, every student around the world is getting the same material. They're being taught the same material, so it's equal. The way that a student could earn college credit is at the end of the AP class, you can take an AP exam. It is optional. It is not required. The AP exams are given the first 2 full weeks of May each year. This year they cost $97 to take the AP exam. And if you pass the AP exam, there are some colleges that will offer you credit for that exam score. Passing the AP exam is a score of 3, 4, or 5. So the scores are on a 1 through 5 scale. Anything 3 and above is considered passing. But every college can choose to handle that differently. And this is where there is the opportunity to earn college credit through AP, but it is not guaranteed. So for instance, and I don't know if I'm going to have this exactly right, but Penn State might say, we will take calculus, but only if you earned a 5, and we'll give you 3 credits for that. But if you earned a 4, we're not going to give you credit. But then Shippensburg might say, you took AP Calculus, you got a 3 on that exam, we're going to give you 3 college credits for it. So every college can decide how they're going to handle an AP exam. And they can also say, we don't accept that AP exam. We will not give you credit for it. So AP, when you think about it, $97 is a bargain if you get college credit, but there is not that guarantee. You won't know until you've enrolled at the college and you've submitted your transcripts. Now you can go on the College Board website, so collegeboard.org, board is B-O-A-R-D, not B-O-R-E-D, collegeboard.org, and if you search AP credit policy, you can actually, it's a pull-down menu for the test or the subject, and then it'll tell you every college that accepts it, the score they accept, and then actually the name of the college is also a hyperlink that you can click on, and then it'll even tell you, like AP Calc counts as Math 201, or psychology, AP Psychology, we're going to give you 3 credits for that, and that's Psych 101. So you can really look at what it would do for you at each different school. And you will find colleges handle them very differently. But AP is the first and most common way that students earn college credit, in that it's been around for a long, long time. But probably, I'm trying to think, I think it was like in the 17, 18 school years when college and the high school really kind of took off. And we have, well, I'm going to give you, you have the list of classes, but if you, so I was the counselor for the class of 2021, so I like to kind of add up numbers and see what's going on. But our class of 2021 at Cedar Cliff took 445 college courses, mostly through Penn College, Harrisburg University, and HACC, and they earned 1,335 credits, approximately. I will tell you, if I wasn't sure, I didn't count it. So I think this is a low number. 1,335 college credits earned by that class before they even graduated from high school. So it is not uncommon for a student to enter college as a sophomore because they have that many credits that they've earned while they're in high school. I do want you to think about college in the high school, though. I think sometimes the kids think about it as a way to graduate early, and it's a viable option for that. I think also sometimes it's about graduating from college early. Also a viable option. I mean, let's face it, financially, it makes sense. But I also want the kids to think about, and want you to think about college and the high school as much as about just preparing for college. So if your child is saying to you, I want to go to college, this is what I want to do, and you know that we have college classes happening in our building, I just don't know any reason why you wouldn't have your child take at least one of them while they're here. They're at home, they're safe and comfortable with you, they're in a building they're familiar with, they probably will have their professor is a teacher that if they haven't had them before, they at least know them, they've seen them. It's just a secure setting to try out this level of work. And I just think if they graduate from Cedar Cliff or Redland and are going off to college and haven't done one of these classes, they're really missing an opportunity to get a sense for what is college level work really like. So often, I hear kids say, well, when I go to college, I'll do better in school. No, you do better now. See what it's all about. See if that rigor is something that you can handle, and make sure that you just understand. For those of you who went to college yourselves, a lot of the work and the effort in your college classes actually happens outside of the classroom. Whereas in high school, I think a lot of it's happening in the classroom, right? But in college, you have all this time outside the classroom that you have to manage, and you have to work, and you have to prepare. And I think these college and the high school classes give the kids the opportunity to figure out how to do that. So, college level work. Our teachers are hired, vetted, they have to interview by the colleges that offer college and the high school here in our building. So this is not just a random, hey, does somebody want to teach college psych? This is someone has to apply to HACC, they have to go through the interview, they have to do all those things. So the teachers who are teaching these courses really pursued it. It's something that they want to do. One of the things that we do with the college and the high school classes as well is we want it to feel like a college course. So the classes actually only meet 3 days a week. So these are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday classes. Tuesdays and Fridays are office hours. So what that means is students can go to the class still and they'd have access to their professor to ask any questions. They can also use it as study hall time, or there is open campus. So they have the opportunity to use that time flexibly to get their coursework done, to prepare for the next day's classes, even honestly to study for some other class that they have, you know, if they're all caught up in this one. They will earn 1 credit at Cedar Cliff or Redland towards graduation for every college and the high school course that they take. But they're also enrolled at the college, and the college is going to also grant them credit. So while they're putting classes on their Cedar Cliff or Redland transcript, they're also starting a HACC transcript, or a Harrisburg University or a Penn College transcript, depending on what courses they're taking. So they are also creating college transcripts. They are earning college credit by taking and passing these classes. So that's the big difference, I think, between college and the high school and AP. AP, you might earn college credit, right? If you take this exam and then you enroll in a college that grants you credit based on your score. These courses, if you pass them, you've earned the credit. Now, in order for them to be transferable, you usually want a C or above, right? So, you know, you could get a D in the course, yeah, you've taken, but I mean, if we're talking about earning more credit, or earning credit toward their college degree, C or better. But some of this, one of the things I also want you to think about too, it's not about graduating early. I was kind of going down that route. The other thing is, like, let's say they're in college and this amazing internship pops up for them. Great. But you really can't take many classes that semester because this internship is going to be so much time. Well, you took college and the high school while you were here, and all of a sudden you have a semester to play with where maybe you do take a lighter load and you really dig into that internship. Or maybe you want to study abroad, right? You want to go to Australia. You want to spend a semester there. But you're not able to carry a full load because of the courses that they offer. Again, college and the high school all of a sudden has you staying on track to graduate college in 4 years, but also have these really awesome opportunities. So I think it's also something that kind of have in your back pocket, that maybe I can take advantage of something that presents itself while I'm in college, because all of a sudden I have these credits that I've earned that I know I can use towards my degree down the road. So, HACC is the school that we have had the longest history with. We offer, we've been doing, well, that 17-18 school year, we offered just 2 HACC classes, the College Composition 1 and Anthropology, and you can see how it has grown significantly. I also wanted to tell you, so that class of 2021 info, we said they've earned 1,335 college credits while they were here. Since they graduated, which is 2 years ago, we have added 8 college and the high school courses. We've added 8 more opportunities for them to earn college credit. So imagine, like that number. And that number, that 1,335, doesn't count AP. I'm not counting AP because those aren't guaranteed. I'm only counting college and the high school. I'm only counting dual enroll, what they've taken while they're in high school. So HACC courses, we have College Composition 1 and College Composition 2. English 101, English 102. Those are writing intensive classes. Here at Cedar Cliff, they are primarily for seniors. I know at Redland, juniors take them as well. And I think, you know, we're open to juniors taking them, but that has been primarily a senior class at Cedar Cliff. College Algebra, Math 103. College Algebra, the prerequisite for that is Algebra 2 and Geometry. So College Alg is not for the kids who want to study math and science in college. College Alg is for the kids, like myself, who didn't really want to have to take math and science in college because that wasn't my thing, but I knew my college was going to require it. So I could have taken this Math 103, transferred that, and not had to take a math class down the road. So Math 103 is really more for our students who are not going into math and sciences, but want to get that full credit of math, college level math out of the way. Anthropology, just a cool offering. It's something that you would normally not really see in a high school, and you'd only see it on college campuses. So we have that anthro class. By the way, Mr. Riley is our anthro teacher. He was an archaeologist for a while before he went back to teaching, so he's got a really unique kind of background, I think. College Psych is brand new this year. The one thing I will tell you about College Psych, we are still teaching AP Psych, and we're teaching College Psych. I think if you were to go online and check out that College Board website for the AP exam, I think you're going to find that College Psych and AP Psych are going to cancel one another out. So I think that if your student's taking AP Psych, they need to decide whether or not to take the exam if they're going to take College Psych down the road. We're new to College Psych, so we're still feeling our way, but that is one caveat that we're running into a little bit. Contemporary American History, College Computer Applications, great class that is taught at Redland, so if you're a Cedar Cliff kid, you go over to Redland to take that class. We have a PE class, Living Fit and Well. It's nutrition and wellness. It's a 1-credit course. I didn't mention this, but because they're college classes, they're all only a semester long. They're only half year, but you earn a full credit. So this is a way to also add more credit. But this PE, Living Fit and Well, again, a lot of colleges have a PE requirement. You bring in a college PE course, you very well may have taken care of that PE requirement before you ever step foot on a college campus. I've also found there's a lot of kids, there's a certain population of kids that don't really like phys ed, right? They don't like the active part of phys ed. This is a great way to get a full credit of PE, health, wellness. You do some physical activity, but that's just a piece in what you're doing. And then we have a modern art class. So one of the things when we're looking at college in the high school is, I know sometimes kids feel a little overwhelmed by the level of work, or they're nervous about it. If your child is nervous about it, maybe their first college in the high school class isn't a major subject, maybe it's an elective. So that modern art, I think, falls in as a nice elective for someone who's interested. Harrisburg University, and we have reps from both HACC and Harrisburg U here tonight that are going to speak once I'm done, so if you have questions about specifics. Harrisburg University does theirs a little bit differently, and I call it an overlay class, but that's my own term. So that's just something I coined if any of you want to use it. So what they've done is they've looked at our curriculum in AP Chemistry, and AP Bio, AP Physics, AP Calc, AP Stats, and they've said, what you guys are doing in those classes really match up with our classes on campus too. So kids who are enrolled in those AP courses, when I come around and talk to them about AP exams, but what they can do is they can decide, do I want to take an AP exam, or do I want to enroll at Harrisburg University and get college credit automatically for taking this class? So they have the option in all of those courses. So really, while that class is going on, they're enrolled in an AP course, but they could also be earning college credit through Harrisburg University. That option exists. Again, you'll see that some of the classes are only at Cedar Cliff. AP Chem, AP Physics, AP Bio are taught in both buildings. But if your child wants to get that Harrisburg University credit, they would come here to Cedar Cliff to take it because those teachers are Harrisburg University faculty. A brand new course that actually is going to start next semester is the Advanced Agricultural Systems. That is actually second level aquaponics. So any student who has taken our aquaponics course and wants to take it the next level, which we used to call aquaponics too, but now we call it Advanced Agricultural Systems. Harrisburg University is coming in, and those kids can earn, I think it's 1 college credit for that course. Yep. So that's new. The other thing is, and I'll let you guys talk about tuition when you speak, but that class is free. That's one of them that is free. And then the last one that I didn't mention initially was college speech. That is an English credit. It's public speaking. And so that's a class, that's a standalone. It doesn't fall under those AP courses that are the overlay. It's actually its own class. It's Communications 110, I believe, through Harrisburg University. Again, semester-long class, but you earn a full credit in your high school, and you earn 3 college credits for having taken the class. And then Penn College is our other partner. Penn College has 2 classes that we offer here at Cedar Cliff, one called Introduction to Business and one called Social Media in Business and Society. Penn College courses are free, and they also are most readily available to 10th graders. So 10th, 11th, and 12th graders can take it, but again, a lot of our 10th graders who are kind of trying to dip their toe in that college and the high school idea, this is a place where they often start. Because if you're looking at it, these are electives, right? So they're not jumping in full force in English or math. They're going to go to an elective class and just see, is this something I can handle? Is this what I expect it to be? So some of the terms that you may have heard thrown around, like a lot of times people will talk about dual enrollment, and that is an option as well. College in the high school is considered dual enrollment because your child's dually enrolled, right? They're enrolled at Cedar Cliff or Redland, and they're enrolled at these colleges. But the last option that they have is what is truly dual enrollment, or what that original scene was. And that is where they can go to HACC, go to Harrisburg University, go to Messiah, go to Dickinson, go wherever they want. And they can take courses on their campus or online, if they want to take an online course. They can take their courses, and then they would just make sure that we receive their grades, and we would also put that on their Cedar Cliff or Redland transcript. We would also weight that course 1.06 when it comes to cumulative grade point average and class rank, and we would apply it towards their graduation here. So that option exists as well. So I wanted to give, check my time here, wanted to just give two quick examples of how I've seen college in the high school used really well. And the first one was a young man I had several years ago. The way the family worked, there was 3 kids, and all 3 of them ended up being in the classes that I was the counselor for, so I got to know the family well. 2 older siblings, very much academic, college prep, college bound. No one had any doubt about that when they walked in the door in 9th grade. Not mom, not dad, not the kids. 3rd one came along, school just wasn't as easy for him. It just wasn't. But, you know, he wanted to go to college. His parents wanted him to go to college, but it was a stretch for him. And so the plan was, the thought was, his senior years when we first started teaching anthropology. And so he took it. But we made sure that anthropology ended up being 1 more credit than what he needed for graduation. Because if he didn't do well in it, we didn't want it to keep him from graduating. But we wanted to give him this opportunity. And so he worked his tail off, but he passed it, and he ended up enrolling in college. Like, all of a sudden, this shift happened, right? School was hard, he wasn't sure, he wasn't confident, he didn't know if he could do it. Mom and dad were a little unsure as well, frankly, but they wanted him to do whatever it was he wanted to do. Taking that class, being successful in that class, sent him out of here on such a positive forward motion that he ended up, he went off, I think he took a first year at HACC, I think he then, you know, left home, lived in a dorm, graduated from college, has his bachelor's degree, very successful, doing well. And I really think taking that class while he was here, while mom and dad could help him when he struggled, where he could go and see, you know, teachers that he knew, made all the difference for him to start that college career feeling good. The second one was in the last class I had, the class of 2021. I had a young man, he knew he wanted to study computer science. He absolutely knew that, and he knew he wanted to go to Penn State. There's no doubt about it. But he also knew his family didn't have a lot of money, and he wasn't really interested in a whole lot of student loan debt. No one's really interested in it, but he actually really had that in his head. His parents were college educated, but not in the United States. So he had parents who knew that they wanted him to go, you know, they understood the level of rigor of college, but they didn't understand the admissions process at all. Like, that was all very new to them. So he was kind of like a first-generation college student in a lot of ways. So what he did is and I encourage every kid to do this, he knew he wanted to go to Penn State, so he called the admissions office. And he said, can you send me what the general education classes are that a computer science major would take for you? And they're gladly going to send it to you. And then he called HACC's admissions office, and he said, can you tell me what classes will transfer to Penn State? That's where I want to go, of your general education. And then he cross-referenced. And so I remember one day I saw him, I'm like, how's that music class going? I didn't really think you were much of a music guy. He was taking a music class at HACC. He goes, I'm not, but it counts as a gen ed. Penn State's going to accept it, gets it out of the way, and then when I get there, I'm going to take all my computer science classes. I'm not going to spend any time in gen ed. I'm not going to spend any time in humanities. I'm going to get them all out of the way while I'm still in high school. And he did. He did a fantastic job. And the only thing, and I'm looking at Mr. Miller because he and I have talked about this a lot. The only thing that I think that kid did that was special was he asked questions. He talked to me. I'd say, hey, find out this, this, and this. He'd go and he'd find out, and he'd come back. Then we'd say, all right, let's find out this, this, and this. Then he'd talk to other people. He just researched and researched and researched and acted on everything that he found out. And he, the amount of money he has probably saved himself and his family, thousands and thousands of dollars, without a doubt, because he took advantage of all the opportunities that he had right here in the building. He did take some dual enrollment classes, so he was taking some courses on HACC's campus, but he was able to fulfill all of that. So I think everyone can use it in whatever way works for them, and I think it fits so many different niches. You know, so many different kids are really benefiting from it. I think our teachers are loving it. I think the faculty is very excited about what we have going on. We're currently having a teacher, he's in his last step of being vetted to teach a political science class next year through Penn College, so we're hoping to do that. We're having some conversation with the University of Pittsburgh about possibly bringing in some of their courses to college and high school. So I only see this growing. So I would really just encourage, you know, the kids to take advantage of this opportunity. Just try things out, right? We talk about like kids doing internships and apprenticeships and things like that in high school. Well, if you're college bound, maybe this is your, you know, this is also part of preparing for what you say you want to do after high school. So the opportunity is right here. It's right in the building. It's easy. Not the course, you know, they're rigorous, but the process, it's much easier than when you get onto a college campus. So I want to turn it over to both Jill and Alex. Jill Matoliak is here from HACC, and Alex Gibson is here from Harrisburg University. And so what we want them to do is just give you a little more information about their programs, about the process, tuition, you know, how all of those, kind of the housekeeping sort of items. So Jill, do you want to go first?
Sure, I can go first.
All right.
There's a nice group here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jill Matoliak. I'm a student success coach at HACC. So our department, we work with all college and high school and dual enrollment students. So probably one of the first questions we always get from a student is, who's my advisor? They are not assigned a specific advisor. They have our whole department. Everyone in our department is trained that when we answer the phone, if they are calling with a question, that we can help them immediately. They don't have to worry about scheduling appointments, sending an email, or doing something like that. So we are all here to help all of the students. So I'm just going to go over some general information with you. Can I just get an idea, parents, are your kids 10th graders? So you're looking at this for next year? 10th graders, it's most of us. Any junior parents here? A few. Any seniors? Maybe a few? No, okay, all right, just so that I have an idea of what I'm talking to. So we do like to talk about the benefits of why you would do college and high school. Just kind of already mentioned some of them. It is a huge cost savings. I know people don't want to talk about that, but it's a reality of higher education. We do have some students who graduate from HACC in the same month with an associate's degree that they are graduating from high school. That's not for every student. I do have to preface that, but it is a great way to start off your college career. I look at our schedule up there earlier. If a student got English 101, psychology done, math done, and anthropology, that's 12 credits. That's your first semester of college. So it's really important to look at that as a cost benefit, and it's really a great way for students to, if they're not sure, if they are concerned about going away to college, to learn that they can do it, and to have that experience and have the support. We do encourage parents to support their students through this process, but let your student do the process and then have them come to you and ask a question. I'll be very honest, I talk to a lot of parents that I have to say, I can't talk to you, I need your student to call me. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but this is a great way for students to get that experience, so when they do move 6 hours away from home, they're good, and you're going to know they're good too, so that's important. Our process starts with the admissions department. There is no fee to apply, but probably the biggest aspect of our application process is that a student has to complete what's called a signature page. So that signature page, the student has to sign off on it, you as a parent has to sign off on it, and the guidance office has to sign off on it. Usually when the guidance office signs off on it, they also send us their high school transcript, and we must have the application, the signature page, and high school transcript before a student will be accepted. So a lot of times students will fill out that application and they don't do anything else, and they'll go into the guidance office or they'll call us and they'll be like, well, I can't do it because no one got back to me. We will get back to them. We do send them emails, so it's key. They have to be checking their email on a regular basis. I tell students, when you apply to us, you should get an email immediately. Thank you for your application. If you don't get that email, that means you didn't apply. And you won't get anything else until we get the follow-up materials. And we do check that, especially for college and high school students. We work a lot to make sure that we have what we need so that they can get enrolled. But they do need to make sure that they're submitting those documents. I do need to talk about FERPA. And I love this parent event. This is fantastic. But FERPA stands for the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. That is something that is filled out as part of the student's application. And I know you're going to tell me my child is 16 years old. You're going to call me and say, I need to know blah, blah, blah about Sally Lou. And the first thing I'm going to do in our system is check to see if they listed mom, dad, or whoever that I'm allowed to talk to them. And if they don't list you, I can talk to you in general terms, but I cannot talk specifically about your student. And that is where that college experience is started. And I can tell you, sometimes mom and dads don't like to hear that from us, but it is a federal law. It's not a HACC law. It's a law that every school has to follow. So you want to make sure that you're having a discussion with your child, not just about what classes they're taking at the school, but at what level are you going to be involved? Do you want them to be able to, do they want you to be able to call the school and find out what their test scores are from their placement test if they had to take them? Do they not want you involved and they want to handle it on their own? But that is a very important conversation with the college and the high school process, because we cannot provide you information or talk to you if you are not listed as a guardian on their application. Tuition cost is a big one. So this is where if you're doing college and the high school with HACC, the rate per credit is $79.50. Now, I know in the previous presentation you were told that students are getting a 1 credit here at the high school, but most of our classes are 3 credit classes. So if they're taking English 101, that class is going to be $238.58 if they're taking that here through the high school. If they do dual enrollment, those tuition rates are a little bit higher. It's $132.50. But just to give you an idea of the cost savings, Cedar Cliff is part of the sponsoring school district through HACC. I hope you all are aware of that process. So as a sponsoring school district, you get an additional savings on your tuition if you are a full-time student at the college. So someone who just graduated last year and is taking classes at HACC this semester, they are paying $236.25 per credit if they do the paperwork to get that sponsoring school district. If not, their tuition rate goes up. So from college in the high school to a graduate of high school, it's about a $500 savings per class. So you should be talking to your kids about taking classes while they are still here as a high school student. The key thing, once a student is accepted, we do ask them to create a HAWC mail, which is their HACC email. We will only communicate with them through that email account. We have learned that students do not like to read email. But if we email you 6 times and you call and say, well, you never contacted me, I can tell you when I've emailed you. So it's important that they are checking their email in that area. We do tell students the tuition cost does not include any fees. Does not include books. We are trying to get away from using textbooks. A lot of our professors, faculty members are going to electronic options for classes. And sometimes there are additional fees. You know, if you're taking a biology class as a dual enrollment student, we don't expect you to have the materials for that, so we're going to charge you a fee for that in that type of area. Classes are available to our dual enrollment students on campus, online, or remotely. So remotely are classes that are offered via Zoom. that great thing that was created during COVID, but a lot of our students prefer it, so we are not getting rid of that as an option for class instruction. We do review with students that they do have to meet prerequisites for classes. So like for students who are taking English 101 at college and the high school, they have to place into a college level course. So we use the GPA from the high school, where we use PSATs, SATs, ACT scores. We will do as much as we can to make it so that a student does not have to take placement tests. If they do have to take placement tests, they are all done online. They do not have to come to campus. We send them links, they do it from home, and then we will review their score to get them into a class. I think that mostly our dual enrollment, I did want to clarify, our dual enrollment program is mainly for juniors and seniors, just so that students are aware of that. I think that's all I have. I know you guys will probably have some questions.
Is there a cost for the placement test?
There is no cost for the placement test, and there's also no cost to apply. And a key thing for some of the junior parents, say you had a child who applied this year, and they didn't take classes, but now they're going to do it their senior year. If they never took classes, they will have to reapply for next fall, if they didn't take classes this fall, to just update their information. Any other quick, do you want to do quick questions now, or have some compliment questions?
I think, why don't we have Alex talk, and then, because I have a feeling maybe we have questions that'll throw at both of you. So this is Alexander Gibson from Harrisburg University. And Alex, if you could kind of same overview would be great.
Yeah, okay. Hi everyone, Alex Gibson here, the Director of Secondary Services with HU. We do dual enrollment, college and the high school here at Penn and Cedar Cliff a little bit differently with that AP. We call it the equivalency model. So, one and done test for the AP exam to give your student a score to get credit isn't always ideal. So what we did, we said, your biology teacher here teaches at the same rigor and level as our college instructors. She can now teach Bio 102 and 103, which is our lecture and lab. It's the same content in the AP level, and your students can get the whole grade from that high school course as the grade from HU. So it's not that one and done test, it's a holistic approach to looking at your student's grade. A lot of the same things apply for that college and the high school. We have an application process. We actually just finished it up. We wait 2 months into the school year usually, so October, November, we're looking for applications to be done. That gives your student time to think, do I really want to take this course for the college credit? I have one marking period in, yes, I know I can do this course. The teacher can say, yes, I understand the student can do this course. If it's college and the high school, we always look at the teacher recommendation and the guidance counselor recommendation. So if they're taking AP statistics, we don't have to make them take an AccuPlacer for that. We trust the experience of the expertise of the counselors and the teachers for that. For traditional dual enrollment, your students can also come down the road into Harrisburg and take courses on campus with us. For that, typically dual enrollment courses per credit are $200. So you say you take a 3-credit speech course, 200 times 3, $600 for the course. We have no application fees, no administrative fees. There's no cost to our AccuPlacers if you have to take one for like a math course that we offer. If the student is coming to a high school teacher, we take that and cut it in half. So it's $100 per credit at the high school location for you guys. So that $300, or the 3-credit speech class would only be $300. Biology has a lecture and lab, so it's 4 credits. It'd be $400 to take that course here. And all those are very introductory level. Most of our courses are level 100 or like level 200. They really transfer nicely into college, general education or introductory courses. The only place that we've seen any issues with that transferability, you know, somebody trying to go to Brown or Princeton, you know, those kind of colleges aren't going to take our transfer credits, but we've had successes with Penn State, Shippensburg, Millersville, you know, a lot of our state schools here, York College, they all have accepted our credit before. Acuplacers, you said all about that. Dual enrollment on our campus, we have some online courses that we offer as well. One of the really cool ones that we offer is esports management, so your student can look at our offerings there and be able to take that for college credit. We did that AP. We're also looking at adding some more courses. Eventually, we had several teachers from the West Shore School District go through a course called GIST 107, which is an FAA drone certification pilot licensing course. So your students will be able to learn about geospatial technologies, how mapping and GPS are used with drones and satellites, and how all that coordinates, and then they can get their FAA drone certification. So that way they could go out and work for corporations to take aerial photos of commercial buildings and such. Doing a lot of really cool things that way. Hopefully those courses can be added in when we have those teachers come and get trained with us. It's a great option to broaden that STEM application that we are always looking for with HU. We are a University of Science and Technology, so anything that is computer technology, science-based, that's what we're looking to enhance. I think you hit a lot of the same things. I hit the same, our price points. I think that's pretty good. Any questions?
Yeah, and I think at this point, like, open it up to questions about any of this information. If you have questions about AP, college and the high school, dual enrollment, one of the schools in particular, I think this would, you know, ask it now and be happy to answer. I just don't want you guys to leave with questions. You know, here's an opportunity.
So I just have a couple questions. So
Yeah.
I actually have a daughter who graduated in 2021. So one, thank you, because she did graduate with 15 credits.
Awesome.
And so now she is well on her way in college. So I think it's tremendous that we have so many options for these kids. I think my question is really back to Cedar Cliff, and really I did have some challenges this year in working with my son on his schedule.
Yep.
Because a lot of the classes he wanted to take overlapped. And so I think my question is really around how is the high school going to kind of work with these kids, because we weren't able to make a lot of changes because they get their schedules so late in the summer. So I know he wants to make changes in the spring already to try to maximize the opportunity he has forward. So I think that's really my questions back to kind of Cedar Cliff's administration, and how do we get visibility to kind of help these kids schedule almost like they are in college, where they can kind of pick and choose and maximize.
So I don't know if I'll try to answer it as best I can. So I do know when we create the master schedule, when we decide what classes are being taught when, we do look at what's called a conflict matrix. So how many kids want these two classes? 0, they can be scheduled at the same time. 12, we got to put them at 2 different times. The problem that we run into, frankly, is at some point at some point you run out of zeros, right? That just doesn't happen. And there's always that kid, like I know for myself as a counselor, every year there's that one kid I'm like, oh, nothing is working for this kid. And it's like a crapshoot. So what I would say is, honestly, probably July is the earliest that we actually can say this is where the conflict is happening. But I think if you are a student who's really looking to maximize those college credits, I think you can reach out to your counselor. Realize that we're not in the building all the time, but we're checking our emails pretty regularly, that I think we could get back and say, let me look at this. You know, in a perfect world, we'd have that information even sooner, but it's just, there's so many moving parts that I don't know if it's realistic to tell you anytime prior to July, honestly.
I'll just add though, that the two of us actually attended a webinar probably a week or 2 ago with someone that's brought in a scheduling tool that might help to be able to expedite some of the processes that it is currently what we're using with Power School, and but we still have to end up doing a lot of those things by hand. Again, it comes back to that conflict matrix. If we can move in the direction of this, it's still one of those things we probably wouldn't be able to show parents a schedule before July 1, because that's sort of the rollover that occurs with the district in all types of systems. But we are looking at ways to open it up a little bit sooner. In addition, I'd say, in addition to the college courses we're offering, I'm currently still working with University of Pittsburgh at an expansion of even more courses and how to get more of our teachers certified. So again, as we continue to add and want to provide opportunities for kids, it's definitely a puzzle to put together.
One of the things I would say is that's why like that deadline for course selection is really important, because what you turn in initially on your card is what creates that conflict matrix. So that, you know, if somebody's coming down, like if it's due February 10th, and then on June 30th we're getting an email, can you change this class, this class, this class? That actually isn't part of the conflict matrix. So I do, you know, I know sometimes it feels like course selection is so early, but really taking some time, and that's an important piece. It just gives us good data to use. Yeah. Yeah.
So if students want to take these classes, are they guaranteed to get them?
So is there a guarantee? No. But I would say these classes are higher priority than something that maybe we have lots of sections of. So if let's say on the course selection card your child has college anthropology and drawing and painting 1, where I know we have lots and lots of drawing and painting 1, I would in my head prioritize anthro, but there isn't a guarantee. But I would, like when I was as the school counselor, when I'm working through that schedule, I'm going to look at those courses and I'm going to make an assumption, and sometimes it's wrong, you know, depending on what their career path is. But I would make an assumption that that would be the more important class, and that we might have to replace drawing and painting with some other elective.
I'd add though that we staff so differently than the colleges. So why we need this information right after January is, for example, if we have 100 students who want to take College Comp 1, we look at, okay, we have 100 students, we're going to schedule those at, let's say it's classes of 20. We need 5 sections of this to fit this teacher's schedule. In some of these college courses, we only have 1 teacher who's certified or college certified to teach the course. So that's part of that piece of putting it together. If 15 more kids decide that they hear about this, well, I didn't know until May. Well, while we want to accommodate that, it wasn't in the initial plan. So that's where some of those challenges come in. But for the most part, again, because we build a schedule driven on what the students are requesting, we're doing that piece up front.
So my daughter is scheduled to take a class in the spring that's a college level class at Penn College, or in the
Yes.
school. But I haven't heard anything about registering with them or anything. Like, are they told this? Like,
They are. So Penn College and Harrisburg University, when you get in the class, you do the application and registration.
Okay.
HACC does it ahead of time. So it is just a different, different procedure for the schools. But yeah, if a student has a Penn College or a Harrisburg University class on their course selection card, you really don't do anything with that until they get in the seat. When we're doing course selection, if we see a HACC course on a course selection card, I think we did an application day this past spring where we brought everybody down who was going to take a HACC class, and we filled out applications here in the library.
okay, so
So,
you
so
assist
you're
them.
fine.
You
No
assist
stress.
them, and
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
My question is for Alex. My son is already dual enrolled in Harrisburg University through VOTAC.
Okay.
Now, there has been a communication breakdown because he is 14 years old about his AP statistics class. Is it too late to go back and include that on his dual enrollment, or is that just going to be one of those, hey, lesson learned, be more on top of it moving forward?
Actually, maybe that was, no, it's not Cedar Crest, it's Camp Hill right now. Have a conversation with the counselor so that way we can talk about opening up registration again whenever. We have semester-based courses at certain districts, and when that happens, we can reopen up Cedar Crest and Redlands. Cedar Cliff. Oh my gosh.
It's a very common.
I'm sorry.
So it's right in a red line.
Yeah.
Yeah. which we have agreements with both of those. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely something that we can re-up and, you know, make sure that that's opened up again, because there are those hiccups, and we get it, teenagers,
Yeah.
we're working with them, and we're trying to accommodate as best as we can. So, as right now, we can't open it, but when we do a spring enrollment, we can make sure that
Okay.
we have the schools set up and ready to go again.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine's kind of like a two-part question. I just want to be clear, so like the college physics or college biology and college chemistry, those classes, like, they just sign up for the AP course. It's the same course, but they get the opportunity to say, yes, I want to take it as a college course as opposed to, but it's the same class.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you had mentioned like the college, algebra class would be for kids who maybe just want to get their, science or their math credit done. But if they are going for like more science-related fields in college, would they still want to take the chemistry, physics, or biology AP courses?
So I think they want to take the course. So let's say that they want to be a biology major in college. I think they want to take AP Bio, but do they want to get AP, like take the test and test out or get the credit? I think this is something to think about, and here's why. Being on a college campus, taking that pretty intense lab, if that's going to be your major, you might actually not want to get the credit while you're in high school. I think you should still take the AP class, get the experience. But I don't know that you want to test out of that initial lab when it's something that you're building on so much for your major. And I really mean that more probably for sciences than anything else. I think if you want to be a chem major, you should take AP Chem while you're here, but do you want to test out of that initial chem class on a college campus? Probably not. I think what you want is you want to go into that chem class on the college campus feeling pretty confident because you took the AP class, you did well in it, you understand the concepts, and then honestly, I look at that as there's your adjustment period. You're on a campus, you're living in a dorm, you're getting used to everything else. At least when you walk into chem, you're like, I got some background here. So I think if that's what you want to pursue as a major, I don't know that you want to get the college credit just because I think you might jump into something you're not quite ready for then.
Can I chime in too?
Yeah.
So one of the other things that, whenever you're looking for that transferability, is every other university that's your student is going to transfer to with our credits or HACC credits, it's up to that institution on how they accept the credits. So if your child's going to go for biology as a major, they might have a requirement that they have to take the biology course there no matter what. So if they take it here and get the college credit for it through HU, that could be transferred in as a general elective and replace something else even. So there is that toss-up that, you know, if you go for the credit, you might be able to put it someplace else as opposed to that direct, you know, undergrad path.
That's good. Thank you. And actually, just to piggyback on this, I think if you ever have a question like that, have your child, not you, have your child contact a college. And this is something I'll talk to we talk to the kids about. But part of college admissions, one of the things that a college tries to gauge is how interested is that student in their school. But how do you gauge that, really? But that's part of their application process. And one of the ways they gauge that is how many contacts has that child had with the school. So if they, filled out a postcard at our college fair, that's one contact. If they emailed, that's another. If when admissions rep was in our counseling office, they came down and met with them, that's another. But making that phone call, asking that question, that's another. So then it's application season, right? And their application comes in and the admissions person types their name into the database that they have for all the applications, and their application is the 6th time this kid has made contact with this school. Well, guess what? They have just told this college, I'm interested. If you admit me, I've taken this process seriously. I've looked at this school seriously. I didn't just randomly pick you, off a map. This is a school that I am serious about, and it will only increase their chances of getting it. Only increase it. But it really needs to be the kid making the contact with admissions. That you can sit next to them and be like, say this, ask this, that's fine. But have it be them. That's important. It really is. Yeah.
Do Do you tell the students that when you meet with them?
100%.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
From the parents' perspective.
And then
they
I'll
don't
tell you
listen.
what, and then I'm gonna get a phone call from some parents. I told them to and they didn't do it, and I just can't wait anymore, I'm gonna do it. Nope. Try to be patient, because I really do think, so this whole process, this is their process, right? And so I think if they're dragging their feet on something, it's probably time to have a conversation about what are you worried about? Like, what is this obstacle? Because making that phone call is not that hard, so why aren't you doing it? I think sometimes that's how some of those fears come out, is not in, hey, I'm worried about this, but in a lack of following through on something simple that you've asked them to do.
Can you cover the fact, so there's a lot of classes here.
Yes.
I'm a Red Lens student.
Yes.
How does that work? Does the school take care of transportation, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So we will transport kids up. We try to, any of those classes that we have Redland kids coming to, we try to make them kind of first period, maybe third right around flex and lunchtime, sixth period, in an attempt not to have them miss too much class. If they're a junior or senior and they drive, they could drive themselves up here if they wanted to. It is, honestly, they lose a little something, right? Because you can't get from Redland to Cedar Cliff in 4 minutes. And that's how much time is in between classes. So I do think there is always a little bit of a give and take for it. But I also, the teachers up here know that kids are coming from Redland. Like, when they see the roster, they know. So I think they try to be really conscientious about, like, I'm not going to jump into the meat here until those 5 kids get here, and then we can jump on it. So it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty manageable. I really do.
Can I steal a minute before
Yes.
we let them go?
Yes.
So I just have a couple numbers I want to share with you that I think really speak to a point that you made early about making sure that they're ready for this work and can they succeed in college. The class of 2014 at Cedar Cliff, we had 25% of the graduating class, 68 students that went to college but never completed a degree. And so there are 68 students that have nothing but college debt to show for their college experience. Similar numbers from years after. That number is going down because of this. Your predecessor at HU, Ryan, had a great stat that I could never remember, but the success rate for a student in college who took it just even one college and high school course, double their chance of success. It's, as she said, if they do just one, it really can prove to them whether they're cut out for it. But 68 students a year that leave us to go get nothing but college, that bugs me. It really bugs me. A shameless plug now, so this is mine. I did this before COVID. This is something different. It's a little bit about college, but it could be about things that aren't college, a lot of things about apprenticeships. But in my role as a career coordinator, I hear from employers all the time about programs where I can have your child become a nurse and not cost you a penny. Is it easy? No. Are they going to work hard? Yes. HACC has a new program, the one with Mid-Penn Bank, that you can get your associate's degree for free. You work for Mid-Penn Bank, go teach the classes at Mid-Penn Bank corporate office, and there's just so many of them that I want an hour in front of you or your friends to kind of talk about that. So same setup here for an hour on the 15th of February if you're so interested. Thank you.
Yes.
And I think we have what? 2 minutes.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
I have a question about dual enrollment. Is that only available for local colleges?
No,
Okay.
no. So I have, now it doesn't happen, this is my 26th year, so when I say I had a student, you know, there's a big span of time here. But I've had several students who have decided after 3 years in high school they want to go to college. And I've had kids, I had one girl at Temple years ago. I've had kids all over, but basically what happens is they're called an early admission kid. That's what we call them. And so they apply to college. Now they're applying a whole year earlier, so that's always kind of tricky timeline. But basically all that's required is they need to make sure that their home school is receiving their grades at the end of each semester. We also want to approve the classes they're taking just because I want to be able to say, yes, that's the right English class. I can count that towards your Cedar Cliff, diploma or Redland. But yeah, that option absolutely exists, that they can go anywhere that they want, just as long as the college is willing to accept them, because they don't have a high school diploma yet, and that they're going to send their grades to us, so that, and they can still, now, if they're not local, they don't, but they're still our kids, right? So they, they want to go to the prom, they participate in graduation, they do all of those things. I found a lot of kids don't want to go to the prom once they've spent a year at college, but but they can.
If you'd be so kind, if you take a second, if you put your phone at that, it's 5 questions. It will take you less than a minute, but it helps us figure out whether this was worth your time.